Shalom, shalom, brethren. So today, on this first day of the week, good work day here, we're going to be talking about the mystery Babylon. All right, there's a lot of people researching this subject, but if you read the scriptures, we're in Revelation 17 here. You can find out who mystery Babylon is. Okay, just by reading the descriptions. This is that this woman was drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when John saw it, he wondered with great admiration. And then the angel says, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and the beast that carrieth her. So this woman is riding on top of the beast. And the beast had 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, so there's 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, the beast that thou sawest was and is not. What's he referring to here? We know this is a chronological prophecy just because of what the angel's telling John here. Because notice we're in Revelation 17. But back in 13, Revelation 13, he said, and I saw one of the heads as if it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And then we get more details on this beast, that head, the deadly wound that was healed. We get more because it said, now he's receiving this in 95, around 95. What's going on in 95? Well, we know that the Jewish political state was decimated, right? But then it gets healed. But anyway, he goes on to say, and the beast that thou sawest, that was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. And when they beheld the beast that was and is not, and yet is. So what was the beast that was, but that then is not, and yet is? This would be none other than the political state of Israel. You see? And here's the mind that has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains. Now, whenever we talk about the 7 heads and the 7 mountains, these are historical world powers that had domain over God's people. Starting, we have Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and then the UN today, on which the woman sitteth. Notice that the 7 heads, it's just made up of all these pagan religions throughout history, from Egypt until now, right? That's what this beast is compromised of. Remember that the beasts do not follow any of God's commands, okay? They just pretend to, kind of like the Christians. Okay, so that's why it's predominantly made up of Christian nations, but other nations as well throughout all history. But notice this, on which the woman sitteth. Now notice what it says here. It gives us another sign. And there are 7 kings, 5 have fallen. What were the 5 that were fallen? Well, that would be Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece, right? And one is, what's that? Well, that would be Rome. And the other is not yet come. But when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Now, and then he goes, and he refers again to this beast. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. You see, the beast that was, but is not, but will come, will go into perdition. You see, Zionist Israel. And the 10 horns which thou sawest, notice it calls it the 10 horns instead of the 7 heads. It says that the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which has received no kingdom as of yet, but they receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Now, there, he goes on, he lets you know that it's going to make war with the Lamb. But the angel describes it a little bit better for John. He says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth, right? Which is the seven mountains where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. You see, it's a whole buildup of all historical false religion. And then the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Notice it says specifically the horns. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God hath put it into their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of God shall be fulfilled. Now notice this. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. I just want to share a little video with you guys while I smoke my cigar. Check it out.
Influence on American politics, because that's one of the things.
Yeah.
What are you worried about Israel's influence on American politics? Because that's one of the things that's coming to light over the last couple of years since the invasion, where people are paying more and more attention to Israel, and then also seeing what happens when you criticize Israel.
They are very quick to primary elected officials who criticize Israel, and usually they'll win those primaries. AIPAC is very well funded. It is very, very well organized. It's the gold standard of lobbying organizations. I've never understood why AIPAC doesn't have to register as a foreign agent with the Justice Department when everybody else does. Why is AIPAC special that it doesn't have to register?
This is Babylon the Great.
Back in 2008, I guess it was, I won a very small contract to write, it was like 6 op-eds for the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce. And it was because I was going to write op-eds that supported American business in Abu Dhabi, right? So I had to go on FARA.gov, FARA.gov. It's the Foreign Agents Registration Act. And there's a form there. And I said, yeah, I took, I won this contract. It was like $30,000 to write these 6 op-eds. And the source of the income is the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce. And here's my name and my address and my phone number. Enter. Done. I registered. So if you're doing something, anything, on behalf of a foreign government, you have to register. Except if you're AIPAC. And I just don't understand that.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't understand that the great whore rides the beast, you see. Reigneth over the kings of the earth. But what's going to happen? Well, just like we said, it's going to turn out that the 10 horns, whoever these 10 horns are that reign with the beast. Now the beast obviously is United Nations with the United States at the forefront. But, these Christian nations, Antichrist Christian nations, they claim to be, followers of the Bible, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Any follower of the Bible would be obeying the Torah, just like Yeshua did and those commands. So, but anyway, we have, people are starting to wake up to Israel, the secular Israel, on how it is controlling these governments. And, the beast that was, but is not, remember, John wrote that in 95. The beast that was and is not, and then will come. That's 70 AD and 1948 AD. State of Israel is born. I don't know how anybody cannot see that they're part of the beast, but they're also the Babylon the Great that rides the beast. And, they become the 8th head of the beast. But obviously they are going to get turned on. I don't know when. It looks like things might be starting to turn that way now. we will have to wait and see. But we have a lot of other identifying marks for Mystery Babylon, the woman on the beast. Here's another one. Babylon the Great, mother of the harlots and the abominations of the earth. What would the mother of the harlots be? Well, where does Christianity come from? It comes from, Judaism. How about Islam? Comes from Judaism. It took Judaism and some parts of Christianity and assembled a new religion. The abominations of the earth, you see. Mystery Babylon the Great is Judaism. It's where our Lord was killed. What does that tell you? Well, that tells you it was Jerusalem. So, political, secular Israel. So whenever I'm encouraging everybody to become an Israel Jew, it is not this. I am encouraging them to become the true Israel, the one that you read about in Revelation 21. Become part of that. But this Babylon the Great that we have here, that was, came to life there in 1948, and the crazy thing about this is that the Christians are all about these, Israel. All the world wondered. They're still talking about it today. This happened in 1948, right? 1948. Just think about that. That was a long time ago. People are like, wow. And then they become part of the beast. But they are also Mystery Babylon. That's why it's a mystery, because they're both. She rides and controls all the governments of the world, right? So she has to be a part of that beast system, but she's the one controlling it. But what's going to happen? They're going to get tired of that. They're going to get tired of Israel calling the shots and putting people into power, taking them out of power. And those 10 horns are going to be like, enough. So whoever those 10 horns are that receive our power hour with the beast, they turn on Israel. What you see today. Anyway, that's the way I see it. If you have anything to add to it, let me know. But I know that there's a lot of information out there about this. I went into a deep dive, if you guys are interested. We start way back here with the the detailed study about the little horn in Daniel 7. That little horn is what becomes the beast in Revelation. And I just kind of connected the dots for you. I'll leave a link to this post there. Anyway, shalom, shalom. Much love. See you in the next one.